I am continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a bit as I move along. So, we are picking this up here in 2 Kings chapter 3. We have just read the translation of Elijah as he was taken up in a whirlwind. Ahaziah has died, and his son Jehoram is now king in Israel, and Jehoshaphat is still king in Judah. So that is where we're picking it up. This is chapter 3. Here we go. Jehoram of Israel and Jehoshaphat of Judah joined forces against Moab. Elisha promises them water for their stock and victory in the war. The Moabites are defeated. Now Jehoram, the son of Ahab, began to reign over Israel in Samaria the 18th year of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, and reigned 12 years. And he wrought evil in the sight of the Lord, but not like his father and like his mother. For he put away the image of Baal that his father had made. Nevertheless, he cleaved unto the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, which made Israel to sin. He departed not therefrom. So, he's better than his parents, because he is getting rid of Baal, but he is staying with the original sin of Jeroboam and the 2 golden calves. So, but this is again evidence that Elijah's work was at least partially successful, that Baal is no longer the primary god worshipped in Israel. And now this is the son of Ahab, and he's putting away Baal completely. He's saying, no, we're just not doing Baal anymore. So Elijah's campaign against Baal worship seems to have been fairly successful here. But now, verse 4. And Mesha, king of Moab, was a sheepmaster, and rendered unto the king of Israel 100,000 lambs and 100,000 rams with wool. But it came to pass, when Ahab was dead, that the king of Moab rebelled against the king of Israel. And King Jehoram went out of Samaria at the same time, and numbered all Israel. And he went and sent to Jehoshaphat the king of Judah, saying, The king of Moab hath rebelled against me. Wilt thou go with me against Moab to battle? And he said, I will go up. I am as thou art, my people as thy people, and my horses as thy horses. Remember, Moab is east of Israel, actually kind of southeast of Israel. Now, the kingdom of Judah, we tend to think of the 10 tribes as being north and the 2 tribes of Judah being south, but that's only true on the west side of Jordan. On the east side of Jordan, where you had Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, that's all the 10 tribes. And so Moab would be paying tribute to Israel, not to Judah, because it borders on Israel. And now that Ahab is dead, Moab is refusing to pay tribute. And so they're going back to war. They're going to try and subject Moab to tribute again. So verse 8, And he said, Which way shall we go up? And he answered, The way through the wilderness of Edom. So the king of Israel went, and the king of Judah, and the king of Edom, and they fetched a compass of 7 days' journey. And there was no water for the host and for the cattle that followed them. And the king of Israel said, Alas, the Lord hath called these 3 kings together to deliver them into the hand of Moab. So they're also joined by the king of Edom, and they're circling around the wilderness, 7 days' travel, but they've got no water. An interesting thing. We've got an alliance of 3 kings going against Moab. Anyways, verse 11. But Jehoshaphat said, Is there not here a prophet of the Lord, that we may inquire of the Lord by him? And one of the king of Israel's servants answered and said, Here is Elisha, the son of Shaphat, which poured water on the hands of Elijah. And Jehoshaphat said, The word of the Lord is with him. So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat and the king of Edom went down to him. And Elisha said unto the king of Israel, What have I to do with thee? Get thee to the prophets of thy father, and to the prophets of thy mother. And the king of Israel said unto him, Nay, for the Lord hath called these 3 kings together, to deliver them into the hand of Moab. And Elisha said, As the Lord of hosts liveth, before whom I stand, surely, were it not that I regard the presence of Jehoshaphat the king of Judah, I would not look toward thee, nor see thee. But now bring me a minstrel. And it came to pass, when the minstrel played, that the hand of the Lord came upon him. And he said, Thus saith the Lord, Make this valley full of ditches. For thus saith the Lord, Ye shall not see wind, neither shall ye see rain. Yet that valley shall be filled with water, that ye may drink, both ye and your cattle and your beasts. And this is but a light thing in the sight of the Lord. He will deliver the Moabites also into your hand. And ye shall smite every fenced city and every choice city, and shall fell every good tree, and stop all wells of water, and mar every good piece of land with stones. And it came to pass in the morning, when the meat offering was offered, that behold, there came water by the way of Edom, and the country was filled with water. So I do like this. Jehoram he's kind of doing his best. He was raised as a pagan, so he keeps the two golden calves, but he does get rid of Baal, and he does kind of turn to the Lord. And so Elisha, Jehoshaphat, and the king of Edom, who is unnamed, come to Elisha. Jehoram, Jehoshaphat, and the king of Edom come to Elisha, and Elisha's like, you have your own guys, you got your own prophets, you go talk to them, I'm not talking to you. But Jehoram says, no, wait, God set this up. So we see a little bit that Jehoram still believes in the prophets of God. Like a good pagan, he believes in multiple gods, and the true God is one of them. But Elisha says, well, I will help you out because Jehoshaphat is here, and Jehoshaphat was a very righteous man. This is because of Jehoshaphat, we'll help you out. And he tells them how to get water. They dig ditches. I know this is a barren land, but you dig ditches and water will come. And so they dig the ditches, and in the morning the water flows in, filling the land, and they get all the water they need. Very much like the saints clearing digging irrigation ditches out west in Utah, watering the valleys, or with with Zion's camp when their water went sour and Joseph Smith went and dug a well. These things, God works in very similar ways, we'll say. But let us continue. Verse 21. And when all the Moabites heard that the kings were come up to fight against them, they gathered all that were able to put on armor, and upward, and stood in the border. And they rose up early in the morning, and the sun shone upon the water, and the Moabites saw the water on the other side as red as blood. And they said, This is blood. The kings are surely slain, and they have smitten one another. Now therefore Moab to the spoil. And when they came to the camp of Israel, the Israelites rose up and smote the Moabites, so that they fled before them. But they went forward, smiting the Moabites even in their country. And they beat down the cities, and on every good piece of land cast every man a stone, and filled it. And they stopped all the wells of water, and felled all the good trees. Only in Kir Hareseth left they the stones thereof. Howbeit the slingers went about it, and smote it. So I like this. The armies go out, they've got the promise of Elisha, but Moab wakes up. They know that the kings are coming, so they prepare their armies. When they look out, when the sun comes up, the sunset makes all this water kind of red in color. Not the sunset, the sunrise. And the Moabites don't know there's water there. This has been a wilderness, and it's basically now turned into kind of a lake, or more like a swamp. But, the Moabites don't know there's water there, so when they see all that red, they assume it's the blood of the enemy, that they've all killed each other. And so they go in thinking, hey, we're just going to go in and take all the valuables. So they don't go in expecting to fight. They're not prepared to fight anymore because they think the battle's already over. And so they just rush down into the camp unprepared, and Israel is able to totally decimate them. And then they do exactly what Elisha told them to do. Filled all the good ground with stones so that it couldn't be plowed and couldn't be harvested, it couldn't be used for growing crops. Cut down all the good trees, meaning took away the fruit orchards. And they stopped up all the wells of water. So they're totally destroying Moab's ability to produce food, basically. They're crippling Moab for a significant period of time. It'll take a long time for Moab to replenish all these things, which means Moab will not be able to go back to war for a long time. Finishing it out, verse 26, And when the king of Moab saw that the battle was too sore for him, he took with him 700 men that drew swords to break through even unto the king of Edom, but they could not. Then he took his eldest son that should have reigned in his stead, and offered him for a burnt offering upon the wall. And there was great indignation against Israel, and they departed from him and returned to their own land. So as the king of Moab sees that he's losing the battle, he first gets his elite guard and tries to break through and kill the king of Edom, thinking, well, if I can kill one of the three kings, it'll break up the army and the battle will be ended, they'll all flee. It fails. He can't get to the king. So then, in his pagan ways, he decides he is going to make a sacrifice to appease the gods, to try and turn the tide of the war, and he sacrifices his eldest son, the heir to the throne. And this backfires because the people see what he's doing. And so when it says they had great indignation against Israel, it was Israel drove the king kind of to madness. That's what they're mad at Israel, but they will not follow a king who sacrifices his son in this way. And so they all leave the fight. the Moabites abandoned the fight because of the king's actions. It's an interesting little fight. We do see, as we see, Jehoshaphat is still king here. The dates are a little bit off. I will probably, when we get towards the end of the kings, probably around the time that we're doing Josiah, or just after the Babylonian captivity, actually, I will do a video detailing the timeline of the reign of the kings. But this says Jehoram became king in the 17th year, or the 18th year of Jehoshaphat. But Ahaziah was king for 2 years, and he became king in the 17th year. So making this work is a little bit tricky. But anyway, we're going to leave that here. We are going to be turning to Chronicles next, so we will see you there.